So today it's going to be David Madison Cawthorn, Congressman, young man, wheelchair, really handsome. So if you like the video, please do like it. I hope you've subscribed. If you haven't, please do subscribe. And thank you very, very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks. Hi, I'm Mark, and this is my journey through tarot. Come on. Yeah, so this guy's been very controversial. He's in the news, and Democrats are sending out fundraising letters, to try to fight his whatever he's bringing up next. So let's see what's up with this guy, Madison Cawthorn. So I'll tell you what I wikied about Mr. David Madison Cawthorn. He goes by Madison Cawthorn. In 1995, he was born on August 1st, so he's a Leo, and he's from Asheville, North Carolina. He was homeschooled, and he played football, and plus worked at a Chick-fil-A. Now remember, his accident occurred later. So, but here's what happened, as a matter of fact. In 2014, at age 18, he was seriously injured returning from spring break near Daytona Beach, Florida. His friend apparently fell asleep at the wheel of a BMW SUV, which crashed into a concrete barrier. Now, Cawthorn's feet were on the dashboard. So, U.S. kids, they ride like that. U.S. Representative Mark Meadows nominated him to the U.S. Naval Academy, but he was rejected before his accident. So he must have been nominated and rejected before the accident. But he claims that it's the accident that derailed his plans. 2015 to 16, he was a staff assistant in Mark Meadows' district office, telling newspapers he worked full-time, but it was part-time. 2016, he attended Patrick Henry College, studying political science, earning D's and dropping out, saying his injuries interfered with his ability to learn. And the quote is something like, suffering from a brain injury after the accident, definitely I think it slowed my brain down a bit, made me less intelligent. And the pain also made reading and studying very difficult. Saying he withdrew from heartbreak, also about college, saying he withdrew from heartbreak after his fiancée broke up with him. Well, that's valid, I guess. In 2017, he said his friend left him to die in a fiery tomb. The friend says he pulled him from the wreck. Then Cawthorn said he had no memory from the accident and was dead on the scene, but the official report said he was incapacitated. He is partially paralyzed and uses a wheelchair. He received $3 million from an insurance company for medical debt, but he's seeking $30 million more. Now, 2019, he is the owner of SPQR Holdings, LLC, a real estate firm that reports no income. He's its sole employee. SPQR, wow, is a symbol of the Roman Empire and stands for Senatus Populusque Romanus, and I guess that means the Roman Senate and people. And SPQR has also been embraced by skinheads in Italy and white nationalists in the United States. So in 2020, he was elected to Congress for North Carolina. He finished second, but the first place person didn't get 30% of the vote, so there was a runoff, and he won the runoff. Several women accused him of sexually aggressive behavior, misconduct, and assault. One said he pressured her to sit on his lap and tried to kiss her forcefully. And he said he did try to kiss her in a very normal, flirtatious way. And 3 others said that he grabbed him and tried kissing them, and he called one just a little blonde, slutty American girl in a... Oh my gosh. So in a public letter, a group from his college alumni accused him of sexual predatory behavior, vandalism, and lying. And the signatories for that letter increased to over 150 alumni. Cawthorn said he would contest the presidential election results, remember way back when, citing fraud, although there was no evidence. He also said, without evidence, that a large group of cartels kidnapped our children to sell them in a sex slave market. And the last little couple sentences here. 2021, Cawthorn defeated the Democratic nominee, like we said. BuzzFeed News found 20 people saying he harassed females. And he drove recklessly to remote areas, asking, if you don't, in case you don't know, they make cars that you can use hand controls on. I have a good friend who has a car like that for years and years. But he drove recklessly to remote areas, asking women sexual questions, calling these fun drives. And resident assistants in college, RAs, warned girls not to ride in his car. A friend says he bragged about pulling a woman onto his lap, putting a finger between her legs. And then the TSA at Asheville Regional Airport found an unloaded Glock and a loaded magazine in his carry-on. He said he forgot to put them in his luggage. He was under the plane's luggage. So let's see what we got about him in the cards. Okay, so this is the newest edition. This is the second time I purchased from this group, and these cards are called Revival Art Tarot, second edition. And they're from Taracho Studios, which you can see right here. And they come to me, I think it's from Russia via the Netherlands, but they're a lot of money, and but they're beautiful cards, and you'll see. So they come in a very typical little cardboard box, no big deal there at all. Then the instruction booklet, again, is not anything to write home about. It's just a typical little instruction booklet. The one good thing is that it is easily read, and in the in the lower arcana cards, they've got an extra card in each suit. So, you know, you've got cups, wands, swords, and I can never think of the fourth suit off the top of my head, pentacles. But so they go all the way to the Ten of Swords, for instance. The next one then should be a page, but here we have a Princess of Swords. Then after the Princess of Swords, you still get the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So you have one extra card for each of those four suits. So instead of 78, 79, 80, 81, 82 cards total in the pack. So that's interesting. So if that princess confused you, you could just take those four cards out and use them for some special occasion, or never use them at all, or put them in there, and this gives you an idea of how to divide the extra card. So very interesting. Then the cards themselves, they're really good stock once you get them broken in. And what I mean by that is, you know, when they come off production, they're really pressed together. There's no air between the cards, and you can't hardly get between them. So it takes a little bit of shuffling and getting them some air between the cards before they're usable, really, and not sticking to each other. And then the back of them is beautiful, and I haven't discovered anything particularly unusual about the back, except maybe until this very minute. Let's see. If you have the cards this way, you'll notice that there's a very small little rose right here. So if you see that small rose here up in the right hand corner, then you know this card is going to be upright, as it should. However, if this card was inverted, that small little rose becomes two roses. Okay, so if you see it two roses up here rather than one, then you know that card is going to be inverted. So that's the example. I like knowing that. I don't know, it just gives you a little edge when you're dealing the cards. And now I can straighten them out and not have to turn it over. I know that this is inverted and this is straight. Now, to look at this art is amazing. And each one of these is a work of art that's referenced in the guidebook. For instance, if I look at this Fool, number 1, with the Major Arcana, and it tells me that the Fool is, in fact, the name of that piece of art is called A Jester by Philippe Mercier. And then it gives me the divination for the card, beginnings, possibilities, pleasure, etc. The next card, the Magician, if you were to see that one, that is a work of art called The Astronomer by Candlelight. The Astronomer by Candlelight, and it's by, I guess it's going to be Garrett Du. So my foreign pronunciations aren't very good, but I do give it a try. So the cards themselves, you can see they go right to the edge of the card. They're beautiful pieces of art, and thought has gone into choosing these cards for the position they stand for. The one thing that's not evidence, for instance, they're not always clear that, for instance, a Two of Pentacles is a Two of Pentacles. It might not have two pentacles on the card to tell you that. So they're a little interesting there. You should kind of look through the cards and understand what each one stands for first. But, I mean, look at them. They are absolutely beautiful. And it always feels to me like intention has gone into making the selections of these actual pieces of art before they turn them into tarot cards. And I like that. And I think you like them too. So Madison Cawthorn. Madison Cawthorn. Is this guy... is he just lying? Madison Cawthorn, is he just lying? I think that's the case. Sorry, but at some point you have to, honor your intuition. And I'm afraid that's where I am, but we'll ask the cards. Madison Cawthorn. Is he just lying? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh boy. So, take a look here. Let's see if we get some answers to that question. Madison Cawthorn lying. Okay, so the signifier card for this is the Knight of Cups. Okay, so the Knight is the fellow who's going to take a passionate issue, a cup of compassion, and this Knight is actually just pouring it, letting the compassion pour out while he sits here and starts to write a note. And he's looking over his shoulder at danger, and he's propped up against a wheelbarrow with the sword of justice at his side. And truth, as a matter of fact. So I would say he's not very careful with the truth, and he's not paying attention to the emotions that are associated with this issue. The challenge to that, then, is the Emperor. And the Emperor is all about doing things, being under the control of the all-empowered. The challenge of that, this seems to me to be the government. The basis of this reading, then, is the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords is a thief. Okay? And you can see right here, this devilish little imp here is pulling this innocent into the grasp of this danger. So the basis of this is the 7 of Swords, which is thievery. The past of this reading is a tower. Okay, so that's, calamitous. And we certainly have had evidence of that. So the tower has fallen, and that's where this picks up. The tower has fallen. This fellow's looking in the wrong direction, spilling all of his passion and compassion everywhere, with his truth and justice by his side, resting on an unstable resting place. Funny that it would be a big wheel represented here when we're talking about a fellow in a wheelchair too. That's very interesting. He's sitting on a wheel. Very interesting, as a matter of fact. The sky for this reading, then, is the Page of Coins. Very, very little value. This page is young, inexperienced, trying to make something work with the little token that he has. Okay? So that's the Page of Coins. The likely outcome of this first part of this is the 6 of Wands. Look at that. It is victory, as a matter of fact. So he may be able to push this carelessness to a victory. The last 4 cards of whether this fella is just lying is the 2 of Wands, so short-term plans. Okay, and we can see this looking off in the distance, not really getting up to do something, but kind of scoping out what could be, what's there. What do I need to look at? So that's the basis of this. The environment that's in, however, is the 5 of Coins, which is being locked out in the cold. Okay, so that's the challenge to this 2 of Wands, looking at what I can do, but you're locked out in the cold. The hopes and the fears for that is this 5 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands is kind of an unnecessary argument. Okay, an unwinnable skirmish. It's disharmony. And then the sky for that, the final outcome for this, looks like it's the 5 of Swords, which is abuse of power. Abuse of power. So I have to say, this seems that he's being careless. He's being very careless with the truth as he rests on this wheel. He's being challenged by the government. The 7 of Swords is thievery, which is the basis of this whole thing. The past is the crumbling tower. Okay, in the sky is a very weak page, and the likely outcome of the whole thing is the 6 of Wands, which still could even bring some sort of a victory. That will empower this person. So they look to make some short-term plans, challenged by being left out in the cold. the hopes and the fears leads to an abuse of power with his Five of Wands, and then the likely outcome is the Five of Swords, which is an abuse of power. So yeah, the most telling thing for me is that when the signifier comes with this knight leaning against a wheel, and I'm talking about Madison Cawthorn, I think we're right on track. And the whole thing's, it looks like it can come to a victory. It certainly can. But in the end, regardless of what victory it is, it's an abuse of power. So yeah, this fella is not square. I'm Mark, My Journey Through Tarot. Tomorrow's another day. Stop by, we'll do it again. Ciao for now.